Mr. Leonardis, can you tell us a little bit about your background?
I'm a certified civil trial attorney. And in essence what that is, it's much like your doctor being board certified. If you go to a doctor for a certain type of condition, he's board certified in a field of specialty. I'm certified by the Supreme Court of New Jersey as a civil trial attorney, people that represent injured victims.
So with car insurances, what kind of problems do you normally see people have when it comes to car insurance?
Well, one of the things we've been noticing, and it's a bigger issue now than it's been maybe 10 years ago, but now that there's all these fancy commercials that are cued on TV, a lot of people are trying to pick their own insurance, and this is really more with car insurance, on their own. They'll be home at night on their computer, and they'll go on these websites and they'll try to pick what they think is the right amount of insurance for themselves and their family. And then they really don't realize until they come to someone like myself that they don't have the right insurance or enough insurance.
What kind of different coverage should people have?
Well, the three things that I'd like to focus on really is there's what we call bodily injury, which is the amount of coverage that will cover you or your family if you cause an accident and you injure somebody. Then there's also what we call in New Jersey no-fault or PIP benefits. In New York it's called no-fault benefits. And what that is, that's the insurance that's going to pay for your medical bills. And that's becoming a big issue now in New Jersey at least. And the last is really what we call uninsured or underinsured motorist coverage. And that's the insurance that protects you and your family in case the other driver either has no insurance or not enough insurance.
Okay, so what are the, I guess, the relationship between your coverage for bodily injury and also your underinsured motorist?
Your uninsured motorist or underinsured can never be higher than your bodily injury. So one of the issues we've found is people don't understand even what the uninsured or underinsured is, and they're taking $15,000 or $25,000. So let's assume they're hit by a drunk driver who has no insurance. They're covered only up to that $15,000 that they selected. And if the injuries are bad, obviously that's just not enough.
So what are the problems when people don't have enough medical coverage? What can happen there?
So it used to be in New Jersey that the mandatory was $250,000. That would cover all your medical bills. And that was usually very good. Recently they changed that so you can take as little as $15,000 or $25,000. And what we're finding is people just don't have enough insurance. And it also applies not just to the person that chose the insurance, but also for their family. So if your son or your daughter are driving your car and they unfortunately have a terrible accident and they're in the hospital, you may be out of luck with these bills.
So what would your recommendation be for an appropriate level of coverage?
If I had to pick numbers, I would say you should never have less than $250,000 in no-fault or PIP. That's the amount that covers you and your family for the medical bills, and no less than $100,000 per person and $300,000 per accident for both your bodily injury and your uninsured motorist coverage. I think if you have to have something, those should never be anything less than that.
So I understand today you have a special offer for our audience.
If anybody wants to take their insurance policy, what we call the declaration page, that tells us all your limits. If they want to send that to us, they could fax it, they could email it to us. Our email is available. I'll take a look at it. One of my attorneys will take a look at it free of charge. We won't charge. And we'll make our recommendations as to what we think, whether you have enough or you don't have enough insurance. And we're doing that really because this is just such a big problem these days. People come to the office and the answer they always give me is, I didn't know. I didn't know. Nobody told me. So what we're trying to do is kind of tell people so that when something does happen, at least the family's covered. It's a big, big problem.
Well, thank you so much for giving us that offer, and thank you so much for being here speaking with us
today. Well, I appreciate
today.
your time. Thank you for having me.
Thank you.